This is impressive, my friend. No one expected this, and fans are very surprised that it was confirmed. I already have exclusive details for you. The Raiders' running attack has undergone a revolution. The selection of Ashton Jeanty in the first round of the draft was enough to excite the fans. After all, we're talking about a rare talent, a true spectacle coming out of college with numbers that scare any opposing defense. But the front office didn't stop there. The arrival of Raheem Mostert brought even more dynamism to the backfield, and from one of the weakest groups in the NFL, the Raiders have now positioned themselves as one of the most promising running back duos in the league. On paper, Jeanty and Mostert are explosive, fast, intelligent, and dangerous. But as any seasoned fan knows, talent isn't everything when it comes to the running back position. Stamina, rotations, and health also play a role. Mostert has a long history of injuries, and while the coaches intend to manage his workload, the likelihood of further physical issues is high. Jeanty, meanwhile, arrives at college already under a lot of physical pressure, which increases the stakes in his NFL debut. And here comes the big concern: roster depth. Sincere McCormick barely played as a rookie and remains a gamble. Zamir White, despite the number of chances he received last season, contributed very little to one of the league's worst rushing attacks in 2024. Both are currently occupying the third and fourth RB positions, but lack consistency and reliability. The Raiders still have options on the market. One name that's looming large is Gus Edwards, currently a free agent after a lackluster stint with the Chargers. Edwards had his healthiest season in 2023, and even though he hasn't shined recently, he's still a solid backup. With the possibility of midseason losses, strengthening the depth with someone like Edwards could be the difference between a disappointing campaign and a dominant offense. And it's precisely with an impactful season in mind that the next topic becomes even more relevant. After a tough 4-13 season, many doubted the Raiders would bounce back so quickly, but that all changed with the arrival of Pete Carroll. And now, a prediction by NFL media's Brooks Sozimo places the Las Vegas team as the most improved among those who missed the playoffs in 2024. That's right, the Raiders are among the candidates for the most dramatic leap in the league. According to Sozimo, the main reason for this optimism lies in innovation. The signing of Carroll and the arrival of quarterback Geno Smith have revived a connection that has proven successful in the past. Smith is clearly an improvement over O'Connell and Minshew, and now has a much more talented offensive line. Ashton Jeanty in the backfield, Brock Bowers as a real threat in the passing game, and rookies Jack Beck and Donta Thornton. Jacoby Myers, meanwhile, is coming off his first 1,000-yard rushing season. The offensive numbers in 2024 were dismal: 29th in scoring, 27th in yards, and last in rushing EPA. But expectations are now different. Geno Smith led a top 20 offense with the Seahawks in 2023, and with the arsenal the Raiders have assembled, this season could become one of the most productive in the league. On defense, the picture is more complex. Christian Wilkins' departure after being placed on the PUP list was a hard blow, and although the season has moved along well with reinforcements like Elandon Roberts, Devin White, Jeremy Chin, and rookie Darian Porter, the loss of the DT still weighs heavily. Even so, there is optimism, but this defensive transition still hides a bold new attempt that has just taken place. When news of Christian Wilkins' release dropped like a bombshell on the Raiders training camp, the impact was immediate and profound. We're talking about a player who signed a 4-year, $110 million contract with Las Vegas, one of the biggest defensive moves of the offseason, and who is now leaving the team after just 5 games. The question that lingers is, how did such a large investment fall apart so quickly? The answer, it seems, lies far from the field. Sources close to the time suggest that the behind-the-scenes tension between Wilkins and the coaching staff deteriorated to the point that continuity became unsustainable. And when that happens, no matter the size of the contract, time moves on. And that's exactly what the Raiders are trying to do now: move on. But filling the void left by Wilkins isn't easy, especially at this point in the offseason when the best options on the market are already committed to other times. Even so, Las Vegas is very quick. The team has reclaimed defensive tackle Keandre Coburn, a former Titans player who was on waivers. Coburn isn't a name that, at first glance, might sound exciting. He was a 6th-round pick by the Chiefs in the 2023 draft, and despite playing in 15 games last season, his numbers are modest: 14 tackles and no sacks in his career thus far. He's clearly seen as a depth boost, a rotational addition, not an immediate solution for the defensive line. But that's where Coach Pete Carroll's philosophy comes in. When asked about the new defensive structure, Carroll got straight to the point. This place is about competition. It always has been, and it's very open. According to him, the goal is to rotate the roster, give everyone real opportunities, and see who will take a chance. This means that names like J.J. Peggs and Tonka Hemingway, both rookies, could be tested right away in key positions. Of course, the pressure is on Tyree Wilson, the former top pick who now needs to go from being just promising to being decisive. The Raiders' defensive line is undergoing intense transition, and the next few days will be crucial in determining who will be the key player there. On the other hand, the team still has one of the league's most respected leaders, defensive tackle Max Crosby, who remains the beating heart of the defense. Always vocal, always dedicated, Crosby spoke openly about the season's challenges and reinforced the group's focus: consistency, culture, and unity. In an interview with The Rush, he emphasized the importance of maintaining the work built in OTAS and revealed the immediate impact of the new coaching staff, with direct praise for Carroll, line coach Rob Leonard, defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, and even Chip Kelly, the new offensive coordinator, with whom Crosby has developed a respectful relationship. This synergy between the teams is exactly what the franchise was looking for: a more cohesive, disciplined, and competitive environment. A big question, however, remains. Will this collective effort be enough to fill the massive hole left by Wilkins in the middle of the line? There are no simple answers. Coburn, Peggs, Hemingway, Wilson, they will all have to prove on the field that they can handle the weight of responsibility. And even if the numbers don't come immediately, the focus is on the process: developing talent, building confidence, and building a defense that is at the very least functional enough to compete at a high level. What's clear is that the Raiders won't simply accept a season of passive escape. They're banking on intensity, energy, and an aggressive approach to keep the defense running smoothly. Training camp is just beginning, but it's already become a veritable proving ground. From here on out, the defense's future will be decided not by reputation, but by performance. And as the dust begins to settle on the Wilkins case, another question is emerging among fans. Who will be the next standout on this roster full of surprises? With so many young players vying for position and veterans trying to solidify their lead, the battle for the top spot in the AFC West is just beginning. With the offense gaining new weapons like Jeanty, Bowers, and Geno Smith, the coaching staff led by Pete Carroll bringing a new winning mentality, and the defense attempting to reorganize after the explosive departure of Christian Wilkins. Do you believe the Raiders finally have what it takes to return to the playoffs in 2025? Or are they still missing a key piece for this turnaround? Let us know in the comments, because your opinion is part of this quest.